In the early 19th century, Southern Africa was shaken by a series of brutal conflicts known in the local Sesotho language as Difaqane, the times of trouble, or Mfecane, the great destruction in Zulu and other Nguni languages. Difaqane was a period of chaos, violence and mass migrations. As a result, entire societies were torn apart, while this period also gave rise to new kingdoms, nations, and permanent changes to the political and societal landscape of Southern Africa. Although historians fail to agree on the exact causes of these decade-long wars and when or where exactly they started, there is one name that does not escape any of the narratives: Shaka. The Difaqane can be traced back to various factors, including drought and competition for resources. But the immediate causes were often associated with the rise of the Zulu kingdom under the leadership of Shaka Zulu. Shaka, who came to power in the early 19th century, initiated a series of military campaigns that sufficiently and significantly disrupted the existing social and political order of Southern Africa. Other honorable mentions include Moshoeshoe of Basotho, Sobhuza of the Swati, Sebetwane, who established his colonial kingdom among the Lozi of southern Zambia, having left a trail of turmoil throughout the various territories of the Tswana people. And of course, Mzilikazi of the Ndebele in Zimbabwe. No story about Shaka is complete without the mentions of names like Dingizwayo of Mtetwa and Zwede Kalanga of the Ndwandwe. From these names alone, one can visualize a map of Southern Africa, ranging from the southeastern ports of KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, engulfing southern Mozambique, Lesotho, Eswatini, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and southern Zambia. This is not to say the ripple effects of these conflicts did not affect the nations even as far as Namibia, Angola, and Malawi. Difaqane indeed was a time of turmoil. There was nobody too insignificant or too significant to escape the resonating waves of conflicts that began in South Africa's southeastern coast. Nguni communities and their neighbors, including southern Soto and Tsonga, were the first to feel the ripples. But this would go further east into modern-day Mozambique, west and northward into the territories of the Tswana, Shona, Kalanga, all the way up to the Chewa in Malawi. Nation builders from the south made it all the way into modern Zambia and Zimbabwe in a quest to consolidate their populations and build empires so mighty that the mere mention of their names would send shivers down many a spine. But it was not just the Bantu people and their complex societies and military prowess that were key players in this vignette of destruction and mayhem. Smaller and less complex communities like those of the Khoikhoi, the San, and the Griquas found themselves caught in the crossfire and had to quickly adapt to the new kill or be killed environment. European settlers had now been resident in Southern Africa for more than a century and a half. And although they're not usually mentioned in these intertribal wars, they had a significant role that they played. They themselves, having had their own intertribal wars between the naturalized Afrikaners of Dutch origin and the British and the Germans and the Portuguese and other European colonialists whose relationships with different African people had varied from brotherly to mortal enemies and anything in between. Be that as it may, the Difaqane turmoil also paved way for the European colonial powers to expand their influence. Today, the legacy of the Difaqane still shapes the demographics of Southern Africa. This series explores the dark period in Southern Africa's history and will delve into the lives of some of the men and women whose actions influenced how Southern Africa turned out today. Subscribe